chores around the house. And what we mean by that is your spouse is upset. He or she is doing all the work around the house, and therefore creating resentment and arguments. What do you do?
Yeah, exactly. What do you do, right? Because those are the types of things that are really nitpicky. I mean, let's be honest with each other, right? There are certain things around the house that we probably don't prefer to do. It could be cleaning a bathroom, taking out the trash, but these are some fundamental responsibilities. And I think what we've got to keep in perspective is when we were by ourselves, meaning living independently, before meeting someone, we would have to take on these responsibilities regardless. So to pin them on someone else just because you're with someone else doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And that could lead to a ton of conflict with your significant other. So, that is something that hits close to home for me because I absolutely despise doing dishes. I can't even consistently put those puppies in the dishwasher without feeling some pain and anguish because I don't want to do it. And the same holds true for cleaning a bathroom, right? But I think one of the things that's worked out real well between my wife and I is our communication with each other about these limitations. Specifically pointing out the fact that I don't enjoy this or I'm not very good at that. I think it puts some things in perspective for your significant other, and therefore can hopefully create a baseline and a set of expectations that will work out really, really well.
My thing was that you need to have an honest dialogue with your future spouse. And it has to be honest. You can be promising all lovey-dovey pie in the sky, right? Let's
Right.
get down to some talks about business. Now, there might be certain things, like you said, Louis, you're not quite good at. Maybe you're not a great cook. In your case, you actually said that you're not, maybe you're not good with dishes, right?
Right.
So
Right.
maybe that is something, if your spouse wants to take over, and let's just say you are a decent cook, not a great cook, but maybe you want to take on the responsibility of cooking while, your spouse takes on the responsibility of washing dishes and vacuuming.
Right. I mean, by the way, I'm not bad. I mean, I'm pretty good at cooking, so that actually works out really well in my household.
And so that's what you need to have, is what is fair to you and your spouse. But these are the talks that need to happen beforehand. Before you guys are planning to live together and for the rest of your lives. Communication beforehand is important. Now, the other thing is, Lou, just because you might not be good at a number of things doesn't also mean that your spouse is left doing all those responsibilities, taking care of all those
Right.
responsibilities, just because you're
Right.
not good at it. Learned helplessness, what we call it sometimes. So you have to start learning maybe some of the chores, right? Just so that we can make this a fair distribution.
Learn, or make an effort, because sometimes you may not still be very good at it, but if you're making the effort and putting the time and energy into saying, hey, you know what, I will definitely attempt to do this because it needs to get done, and you're consistent with that effort, I think your significant other will see that over time and be much more appreciative of you, which is what you want at the end of the day. You want your significant other to appreciate everything you're doing, and vice versa. You appreciate the things that they are doing.
Maybe he or she doesn't like cutting the grass. Maybe you don't like cleaning home, or vacuuming around the house or dusting or whatever. So if you have the means, you can certainly look into paying for those services if you're, financially capable of doing so. The other
Yes.
option is automation, that I'm a huge fan of. Anything that you can automate, whether it be bill pay, rather be responsible. If you're in charge of paying bills, just set it and forget it. I think that for the long term, for the long run, saves you a lot of time. Vacuuming, look, Eufy. I mean, I'm gonna just again endorse the product, not because we're sponsored by Eufy, but Eufy makes some of the better quality robot vacuum cleaners. It's unbelievable. It just does our vacuuming for us. Lawn mowing. Husqvarna makes robot lawnmowers, right? And it literally cuts the grass for you. Very much depends on what you value. And for me, I think time is one of those commodities it's really hard to put some kind of a price. So if you do the math, you will end up being a winner, because how much does it cost to you if it relieves your stress, relieves
Sure.
responsibility, enhances your bonding with your family, allows you to be out and about with your family on a nice summer day, go to the beach rather than stuck at home because it's a nice day and I have to cut the grass today because today's the only day I can figure out because I'm off and the day is nice, right? So
That's a
that's
great
something
point.
that
That's a great point.
so anyway, so automation is something to think of. But Louis, you and I'm sure we both agree that when it comes to chores around the house, beforehand communicating is key.
When you're not communicating with your significant other, there is no exchange of feelings, no exchange of thoughts. And some of those thoughts and feelings can stimulate you in a good way, to be very cognizant and appreciative of your spouse. So I always feel like communicate, communicate, communicate. Even if it's something you're uncomfortable with, you just got to break that ice, because if not, it's gonna be a steaming pot of water that's just rising and rising and rising and rising before it tips over, and you end up saying things that you regret, or get into some sort of argument or conflict with your significant other.